Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite accessories, and that's XR AR glasses. And if you don't know what those are, there's tons of videos online, but I'll try to give you just like a simple, quick walkthrough. Basically, what's happening is inside these glasses, there's micro OLED displays, and there's one here and there's one here. And what happens is that image projects actually down and then out towards you. So it's basically like a stationary screen in each eye. So it's not like VR where, the screen is wrapped around you or anything like that. It's actually just like a physical display in front of you. It's like having a monitor right in front of your face. So when you're actually looking inside the glasses, the best way that I can describe it is like when you're in a movie theater and everything is dark around you and you just have the screen in front of you. It's hard to kind of imagine, but when you put them on, you're like, yeah, this is like a theater experience. So these glasses, what makes them so special is that they have a chip inside for the Xreal ones. And that's what makes them different from the Rayneo glasses, from the Xreal Airs, Air 2 Pros, the Vitra glasses. The Vitra glasses can do some of the things that this can do, but it needs software as an add-on to be able to do it. And this thing has a chip inside that lets you do everything. And so what I mean by those special features is with these glasses, when you move your head, the screen moves with you. So if you're up and down, or like I mention it all the time, but I stationary bike. And when I'm stationary biking, you're kind of like bouncing with the screen. So the screen is bouncing with you. So it's nice to be able to just anchor it. And previously, the only way I could do that was actually with the Air 2 Pros and the Beam. And the Beam, you can look at what that is, but it's basically like a device that allows you to have that software I was talking about with the Vitra glasses, to be able to do extra features like anchor the screen or move it slowly so that when you're moving, it's not the same speed as this. It's like a slow-mo move with the screen, so it's not as abrupt as just moving back and forth. But anchoring, that's the real key. So about, I guess not almost a year ago, but months ago, I did a video with Call of Duty. And I did it with the OneXGPU one, and I did it with the Legion Go, and I did it with Rayneo glasses. And the Rayneo glasses don't have an anchor. So the problem with that is that when you're looking at the screen and you want to play Call of Duty and you want to look at the mini map and you want to look around you, well, the screen is moving with you. So you have to just keep your head really still and then move your eyes, which is very exhausting. So I couldn't play it very long. Yes, it worked, but it was hard to keep up with because you couldn't anchor the screen. So being that you can do that within these glasses and you have low latency, because you're not running through another device to make it anchor, these are amazing. So I've had them for about 2 weeks now, and I am super happy. And I'm pumped to talk about them because I think they're a really great accessory for a few different things. I'm not telling you to go run out and buy these or anything like that. These I bought these with my own money. So it's not like Xreal is sponsoring this or anything. I just really think these are great glasses, so I wanted to talk about them. So with these kind of glasses, you get a USB-C to USB-C. And that's great, especially if you have like an iPhone 16 or 15, or if you've got an Android device with USB-C, or if you've got an iPad with USB-C. You can watch your shows. It's great to watch shows. There's speakers inside here, and these speakers are Bose speakers in this specific pair. And so they sound great. So you connect USB-C to those devices. Now you might be thinking, how do I use this with my gaming devices? Well, with the ROG Ally, you've got a USB-C that you can just connect it right to. The screen on the Ally X and the regular Ally are 1080p, 120 hertz. These are 1080p, 120 hertz. So you can get a similar screen performance. Now you might be thinking, my games don't play at 1080p, 120 hertz because there's not enough power on the ROG Ally. Okay, well that's why we got the eGPU. So this is the OneXGPU 2 7800M graphics card in here from AMD. This thing basically lets you do at least 1440p for most games, if not higher, or very high 1080p settings. So you should be able to do 1080p, 120 hertz, no problem with this device. So yes, you can use that display. You can use an external monitor. External monitor is going to be your best bet, especially if you can get a 1440p monitor. But let's say you wanted to use it with the glasses. Really easy to do. Two options for connecting. Now you can connect USB-C right into the device. That's going to be the easiest way because you don't need an adapter to do that. The only thing with that is there is a little bit of a latency. When you think about it, the signal goes from the CPU to the GPU, and then it has to come back to here and then out to your glasses. That's not an ideal connection for a display out, but we're only looking at 1080p 120 hertz. Not a big deal. So that's going to be your easiest way to do it. The other option, which is technically the best option, not technically, it is the best option, but it's not an easy option and it requires an adapter, would be to go from the eGPU directly to the glasses. Now you might be thinking, well, there's no USB-C out of the eGPU. Exactly, there isn't, but there's an HDMI. So what you can do is there's this adapter, and this is the one that I use, but it goes from HDMI to HDMI, and you might be thinking, what the heck's going on with this one? It's just a more gentle, like, nylon end. It puts less wear. When you're pulling it in and out of devices all the time, it's just less wear than having the metal to metal. And then it has a USB, and that's just to power this. And then on this end, that's where you're going to connect the glasses in. And so that's going to go out to your glasses, but through HDMI. And this is how you would connect from like a PS5 or an Xbox. This is going to be the way that you would connect from there. So you can use that to go right out of here. But if you're still capped at 1080p 120 hertz and you're getting that through the glasses directly through this device, that's going to be the easiest way. If you're not quite getting that, you will get a little bit of a performance bump by going this route through the adapter. It's just tougher going through an adapter. Every time you break up the signal through another device, it deteriorates that signal. So you try not to go through adapters if you don't need to. Ideally, anytime you connect the eGPU to an external monitor, you always want to go directly from this straight to the source. All right, so I have these connected through USB-C right to the ROG Ally right now. And when it connects, you can go into System Display. And I have it duplicate these displays. You'd want it to just show only display 2, but just make sure you have a keyboard and mouse connected because otherwise it's a little bit harder to actually control what's happening because you don't have that touch screen and the functionality there. So you can definitely use it if you're just connected and use this in handheld gaming mode and then just use this as the controller. But in this case, I have a keyboard and mouse. It just makes it a little easier to navigate. So you'd have it at show only display 2. And then you can run down here and you can see the resolution is at 1080p. And we'll go into advanced settings, and on display 2 where you can see the Xreal ones, if we scroll down, you can see the refresh rate. So it usually defaults at 90 hertz, but you can switch it up to 120, and then it'll ask if yes, this works. Just hit yes, and then you're good. So when you have these on, I'll try to show. So inside here, you can actually see the display. So I have it. You can see there's a little screen on each side, and that's showing what's actually happening. So as I scroll down on the page, you can see it scroll in the glasses. So that's what I mean when it's like 2 actual screens, but it just forms one big theater style screen. And so right now I have it at smooth. So when it's smooth, it'll actually move nice and smooth with the glasses. But if I had it at anchor, it would black screen if I moved because you have to have your head exactly where the screen is anchored. So if you were going to pick one of these up, you can get it in the US for $4.99 USD, but those won't ship to Canada. Or you can get it from the Xreal site in Canada for $899 Canadian. Are you kidding me? That's crazy expensive. So you might be asking, Nelly, you're in Canada. How did you get yours? Well, not through that way. I got mine actually from AliExpress. I have a store that I've been going to. That's where I got my Xreal Pro 2s and my Beam. And they've been really great. And so they had these, and I picked them up through a recent sale on AliExpress, but I'll link it in the description. So if you are from Canada, I definitely recommend going that route if you're going to pick these up. Inside the box, when you actually get these, it comes with a hard case, and it has like a little cloth for you to be able to wipe them with. And then inside the box, there's a couple different nose pieces in case it's not comfortable for you. And there's an instruction manual. But when you actually turn them on originally, there's like a tutorial that pops up, and you can go through the tutorial and it'll tell you which buttons to push and combinations to be able to use this. The other thing that's really nice about these is they actually crank, so the arms crank. So if it's not quite right or you're getting some blur, you can actually adjust them. You can bend these nose pieces if you need to, but I found the ones that actually came with it were perfect for me. And the other thing that's really neat is the electrochromatic lenses. So these can go like clear so that you can see right through the screen. They can go medium, or they can go full blackout. And you can just change that with the buttons on the side. The other thing is it has the brightness, and the brightness has quite a high peak. So if you're outside in the summer, you're chilling on the back of your deck or just out somewhere in a park, you can just put these on and see no problem. It looks like you're just wearing sunglasses, kind of weird sunglasses, but still sunglasses. You can just play games in full daylight and it's no problem to see through it. And again, if you want to just like go for a walk or something and still watch on the screen, you can reduce the brightness and you can reduce the electrochromatic lenses so you can see right through. Or if somebody's just talking to you and you want to be able to like see their face, no problem. You can change those two settings and be able to see right through. Or you can black it out and then not pay attention to anybody around you. So it gives you a couple different options, but the anchor feature, that's what's really exciting. If you wanted something more cost effective, the Rayneos is kind of what I would recommend for that. But other accessories for this, I get like a sleeve. I like to be able to protect these, especially with how expensive they are. And then I use a different style case. In this case actually has like a pocket for the USB-C cable, and then you can put the glasses on this side. So then I stick them in here, I stick them in there, I stick the other cable in here. Because if you use the hard case, everything's just in there all together. And I don't really like that. I feel like that's less protection. But it is a hard case, so that's pretty nice. So you could just, use this and put it in here. Prevents it from scratching. And these are the Rayneo ones. So if you want to compare the two, in terms of size, they're very similar. In terms of specs, you've got 1080p, 120 hertz on both of them. The biggest difference is going to be that anchor point. One more thing that you can do that's a little bit different is this one actually has a lower brightness setting, so you can actually not burn your eyes out when you're watching at night, if you're watching shows in bed or whatever, or if you're playing games in bed. But this one doesn't go as dim for the brightness, but it does go higher on the brightness. I've tried a few different brands of the glasses. The Vitre Pros, I really wanted to like them. They have great accessories, but for some reason, I just could not get it to work for my eyes. They were blurry. One eye would be clear, one eye would not be clear. I would adjust it. I've updated the software on it. It just would not work out. I tried another pair, same thing. But anyways, those ones did not work out for me, and they're not going to work for everybody's eyes. But the Rayneos do have a pretty clear picture. It's a little blurry around the edges, but not enough to bother me. And if you're looking at web browsing or anything like that, I could still read everything very clear on here. But these are extremely clear. And what I really like about them is that you can actually push the display further, closer, and you can resize it. And that way that actually fully eliminates any of that blurred edges that you might see in other glasses. The other thing is you can actually turn it into an ultra-wide display. So with an ultra-wide display, you're actually going to be able to do tons of multitasking if you want to work from these. Or again, web browsing, or if you want to game like that, you could probably game like that too. It's just a wider aspect ratio. But the ultra-wide screen is actually really neat. I just use the regular screen. Ultra-wide's a little too much for me, but it's still cool that you can do that and that you can do it within the chip in here. You don't need any special software to run through for your programs to add latency. That's why I really like these. In terms of use case, it might not be worth it for you to spend that kind of money on something like this. But if you are interested, these are the best options that I would recommend, especially if you need that anchor function like I do for certain games, if you plan on gaming with it. If you're just watching shows and just playing regular games, like Hades is really good on this. Games that you don't have to constantly move your head at to look at different corners, or, if you're exhausting your eyes. But these I've been really happy with. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment. If this video was helpful, leave me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, everyone. Until the next one.